So many probes are going down. He desperately needs to get these probes out just now after losing about half of them. He is pulling his probes off, and that is going to be a little bit late because these Dark Templars might actually take out the robotics bay for Takamine, and he would no longer be able to build Colossus, which would be a serious problem right now. They really need an observer out on the field, and it looks like the only one capable of building that. I could have sworn that Red had an observer. Where is that observer? It looks like I've got to find this observer. It was hovering out here earlier, and if it is in the opponent's base, he's in a lot of trouble. Needs to build another one. I'm not sure why he is not pumping an observer out right now. So just now he has started to build an observer, and finally he's got this observer out here, as BoBoForce did split up his Dark Templars to try and be even more frustrating. This Dark Templar is again going to be able to run right into metalspyder's base, trying desperately to throw a cannon down right now. This Dark Templar could kill that before it finished, but he is stuck chasing these probes to the center expansion, where there is a cannon that is going to be out shortly here. That Dark Templar is about to die, but Blackout has a lot of roaches coming down now. The armies have emptied for the Protoss team though, and that is a superior army to these roaches. Sarge needs to reinforce this. He is coming in with a few siege tanks. There is an immortal in there for BoBoForce. And here we go, the siege tanks sieging up, going to be splashing away at these stalkers. The roaches pressing the issue, the stalkers being left behind from, I believe that was metalspyder when his teammate Takamine retreated. So a bit of a miscommunication there. Takamine finally bringing units all the way back here to deal with this Dark Templar. He really should have thought about maybe warping in a couple of stalkers to deal with it instead of falling all the way back here. But meanwhile, Sarge and Blackout are going to be taking out this high yield expansion for metalspyder. You can never let those stay up if you are the opponent. And now the bottom team, especially metalspyder, is in a lot of trouble. They're trying desperately to protect this expansion, though. Sarge's tanks were able to run way up there on the high ground and siege up. These stalkers are trying to focus down those tanks in the front, but they are taking a lot of damage here. And now BoBoForce has a Dark Templar in here, though there is an observer on the field way back here, so that did go down. But a pretty even exchange right now, as Blackout and Sarge and Panzer have had an even exchange of units, but Panzer looks like it's going to actually fall back because that one siege tank here really being a pain in the ass. So there is an observer here to keep those burrowed roaches from being able to regenerate. Finally, the siege tank goes down. But these stalkers looks like are going to have to fall back, as there is an immortal, another immortal in play from BoBoForce. So both teams playing the game extremely even right now. It really is anybody's game, but it looks like the top team does have the advantage because Blackout has been able to keep this expansion up. Sarge does have his expansion up and running now. BoBoForce is throwing his down. Well, meanwhile, Takamine is the only one who has had an expansion for the bottom team, but the problem is his main got just obliterated by those Dark Templars, barely even mining at his main. metalspyder's main is totally out right now. He has enough for another Nexus, but he needs to do something about that. Excuse me, I apologize for that, but Blackout was pinging down here. I had to take a drink of water there. Getting dry throat as I'm calling this game. But metalspyder, I'm not sure about this play. Trying to rebuild this high yield expansion is not gonna, well, it is protected for now by those stalkers, but we'll see how long that lasts, because more and more roaches. No upgrades for those roaches, no upgrades for Sarge on either of his units, so no upgrades for the top team, but they do have the larger force right now and an economic advantage. These roaches shooting and scooting, picking off a ton of stalkers. Finally a Colossus back here to defend, but there are 5 siege tanks now, all sieging up at once, totally just ripped through that Colossus, did fall, and now these siege tanks actually getting shot at from the high ground. The scan does go off to take out those stalkers up there. And all the probes for metalspyder trying desperately to mine from that high yield. When all those probes died, metalspyder leaves the game. Panzer leaves the game. and Takamine leaves the game. So well played by the top team, Blackout, BoBoForce, and Sarge. Thank you for sending me this game, BoBoForce. It was a pleasure to cast. I love these 3v3s. That was a really good game. Pretty even exchange back and forth. If you remember, BoBoForce was almost out of the game at the very beginning, but they were able to come back, continue to apply the pressure, making the bottom team delaying their expansions as much as possible. And when the bottom team countered, they got overextended into Blackout space, and their entire army did get annihilated quickly. So that may have been the difference in this game. Thank you guys for watching. This is Irie StarCraft, and peace out.